Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to Progressive Field here in Cleveland, Ohio, for Game 5 of the 2019 American League Championship Series between the Cleveland Indians and the Oakland Athletics. The Oakland Athletics lead this series 3-1, and the Indians have their backs against the wall as they are as the A's are one win away from eliminating the Indians and moving on to the World Series. They won games 1, 2, and 3 by a score of 4-3, 2-1, and 3-2. But then in Game 4, they had a chance to close it out with the sweep, but they just could not do that as they blew a save in the bottom of the 9th inning as Lonnie Chisenhall walked it off with a 2 RBI single, and the Indians got their first win of the series by a score of 3-2. So now we're here in Game 5 to see if the Indians can force a Game 6 or if the A's are going to send themselves to the World Series. The Oakland Athletics lineup is as follows: shortstop Jose Miguel Fernandez, and then hitting second while also playing second is Yangervis Solarte. Center field is Pollock, left field Davis, DH Schwarber, first base Olsen, third base Slayton, right field Andino, and then closing things out is the catcher Ramon Benitez, making his first start of the postseason here behind the plate while Schwarber gets a day off, or technically a day off, as he's DHing, while Trevor Bauer is on the mound for the Indians. He's 0-1 with an 11.25 ERA in his one game so far here in the postseason. Only lasted 4 innings in his start, and he'll be taking on Jose Miguel Fernandez to lead off his day. So Fernandez digs in. Here comes the pitch from Bauer. And the game is underway as the first pitch is taken for strike one, Cutter. So the count runs 0-2 now on Fernandez. Bauer turns, kicks, and fires. And that's going to be check swing in the dirt. And it's going to be tossed over to first base for the drop third strike as Fernandez is retired for out number 1. So 1 down as that brings up Yangervis Solarte. In with a 3-1 count against Bauer as here comes the 3-1 pitch. And that's going to be ball 4, so Solarte will take his base, trot on over to first. So 1 down with a runner on first now for the Athletics here in the top half of the first, as that'll bring up the 3-hitter, the Connecticut native A.J. Pollock. With a 2-2 count on him, Bauer from the stretch. Here comes the pitch, as that's going to be popped up into foul territory behind the plate. Gomes is under it, and that's retired for out number 2. So 2 down now as Solarte has to hold up at first base, and that brings up the cleanup hitter in the left fielder, Chris Davis. Playing left field today as Schwarber is now DHing. And here comes the first pitch of the AB, and that's going to be driven out to right field. Chisenhall goes back, but he's a few steps in front of the warning track as he retires that for out number 3. So a quick inning there for Trevor Bauer. Nobody comes across and no hits. So at the end of halfway through 1, we are still scoreless. Welcome back to the bottom half of the first inning. The Indians lineup is second baseman Jason Kipnis, center field Carlos Gomez, shortstop Francisco Lindor, catching is Gomes, left field Clint Frazier, DH Moss, third base Giovanni Urshela, right field is Chisenhall, and then rounding things out is the first baseman Carlos Santana. While Sonny Gray is the man who gets the nod here for the Athletics, pitching on short rest. So he does not have his full stamina, but he is going to get the nod here to try to close out this ALCS and send the Athletics to the World Series. As he'll be facing Jason Kipnis to lead off his day here in this bottom half of the first. 0-2 count to Kipnis. Here comes the pitch. As that's going to be chopped out in front, Benitez throws his mask off. Fields tosses over to first. And that's a nice swift play there by Benitez as Kipnis is retired. Benitez adds another dimension to this team's defense, as they usually have the not exactly good defensive catcher in Schwarber, but now they have Benitez behind home plate as Gomez digs in, and that's going to be driven out to second base. Solarte fields and tosses over to first as Gomez is retired for out number 2. So 2 quick outs there for Gray, as that brings up Francisco Lindor, who is still hitless here on the ALCS, and he's got a 3-2 count on him. As here comes the kick and the pitch from Gray. And he gets him to go down swinging. There's a 1-2-3 inning for Sonny Gray, and we are scoreless here at the end of 1. Each team no hits, each team no runs. Welcome back to the top half of the 5th inning here as we are still scoreless between Oakland and Cleveland, and Sean Andino, the right fielder, will dig in for the Oakland Athletics with a 2-0 count on him, as here comes the 2-0 from Bauer. That's going to be grounded to second base, fielded by Kipnis, fires over to first, and Andino is put away for out number 1. So a quick out there for Bauer. And now with 1 out, that brings up the 9-hitter in Ramon Benitez, 0 for 1 so far in the day with a flyout back in the 3rd. Digs in with a 2-2 count. The kick and the pitch from Bauer is whiffed right through the changeup, could not make contact as he goes down swinging. And now it's 2 down here as that brings up Jose Miguel Fernandez, who has struck out twice so far in this game. And he is behind in the count now, 0-2. As here comes the pitch from Bauer. And Fernandez takes this one into the left center field gap. That'll get up against the wall. Gomez fields at the warning track, but Fernandez is in there with an easy stand-up double. As Lindor's throw goes the 3rd, but Fernandez keeps the inning alive with a 2-out double. So he's on second as that brings up Yangervis Solarte with a 1-1 count. Bauer looks down the runner. Here comes the pitch. Solarte cracks this one to right center field. Is it out of here? It is! Yangervis Solarte with a 2-run shot as the Oakland Athletics jump out to a 2-0 lead here in this top half of the 5th inning. Solarte's 6th home run of the postseason. He has been carrying this team on offense. As now the Athletics have a 2-0 lead and A.J. Pollock stands in. And that's going to be driven to left field. It's got a chance and hits off the top of the wall. Fielded in the corner by Frazier. And Pollock slides head first and the second base just barely gets in there for the double. So Pollock's on second now as that brings up Chris Davis after a couple 2-out hits here. So here comes the pitch from Bauer, and Davis drives this one at that dead center field. That's at the wall, and it hits off the top of the wall. Pollock scores, Davis with an RBI double. And that's going to be a 3-0 A's lead now here in the top half of the 5th as they have broken this one open. Thanks to a home run from Solarte and a double from Davis. As that'll bring up Schwarber now. And the first pitch is swung on, but it gets past the catcher Gomes. And Davis moves up to third base, so he's now on third with 2 outs. And a 0-2 count now on Schwarber. Here comes the pitch. And he whiffs through that one, strike number 3, but not before the Athletics strike for 3 in the inning, thanks to a 2-run shot from Solarte and a double from Chris Davis. 3-0 A's here halfway through 5. And here we are, the bottom half of the 6th inning, as the score now is 4-1 Oakland, as each team has struck for 1 more run. And here in the bottom half of the 6th, it'll start with Jason Kipnis leading off. Here comes the pitch from Gray. And that's going to be taken for ball 1 on the black, but call the ball. So 1-2 count now for Sonny Gray on Kipnis. With a kick and the pitch is going to be check swing, but he went around, so Jason Kipnis goes down on the slider. And there's a 1 quick out there for Sonny Gray, so 1 down as that brings up Carlos Gomez, who's 0 for 2 on the day. 1-0 count. The pitch from Gomez is going to be driven to left field. Davis stands there, waits for it to bounce off the wall, fields it, gets it into the cutoff man. Gomez going for third. The throw down to third. The tag is not in time as Gomez slides in to avoid the tag. And there's a triple for Carlos Gomez, and that'll end Sonny Gray's day. So Adrian Castro now comes out of the bullpen after Sonny Gray is removed on his short rest. So Adrian Castro making his 2nd appearance of the postseason, with Gomez on third base and a 3-run lead here for the A's, as Francisco Lindor digs in with 1-2 counts. The pitch is up the middle. Solarte fields, jump throw to first. Run comes in, and Lindor picks up his first hit of the ALCS, and it's an RBI single to cut the A's lead down to 2. It's a 4-2 ball game now as Lindor's on first, and Yan Gomes digs in with 1 out, and a 1-1 count. Castro sets at the belt. Here comes the pitch. This throw down to second base as Lindor is trying to steal, and he is thrown out. Ramon Benitez showing off why he's catching, and Schwarber's DHing today. As 2 down now, and here comes the 3-1 to Gomes. as that's going to be ripped into left field. That is also off the top of the wall. Davis is there to field. He'll get it into the cutoff man. The throw to second is going to be not in time, as Gomes has himself a double. A 2-out double here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. As here comes Clint Frazier with an 0-2 count now. Runner on second. The pitch is whiffed through the slurve, and that's going to be strike number 3 and out number 3. So Clint Frazier goes down swinging, but not before the Indians strike for 1, cut the lead down to 2. 4-2 A's over the Indians is the score here at the end of 6. And here we are in the bottom half of the 9th inning as Tony Watson comes out of the bullpen after blowing his save in Game 4. He had a chance to close it out and lead them to the World Series, but he's going to come in here again in the bottom half of the 9th with a 2-run lead. 5-3 Oakland is the score. And Clint Frazier will be leading off this inning with a 2-2 count. Tony Watson sets and delivers. As Frazier goes down swinging, gets him on the sinker, and the A's are 2 outs away. So Frazier will walk back to the dugout, and that brings up the DH and Brandon Moss, who hit a home run back in the 7th to make it a 5-3 game. And there's a 3-0 count to Moss. The pitch backs Moss off the plate. That's definitely ball 4, so Moss will take his base. He walks. So runner on first now with 1 out as Danny Valencia will come in to pinch hit against the left-handed Watson. 0-2 count. Here comes the pitch. That's going to be popped up into foul territory. Olsen goes over, and he makes the play just before it gets to foul territory. He has to brace himself against the wall as Valencia is retired for out number 2. So 2 down, that brings up the hero from last night in Lonnie Chisenhall, or from Game 4, correction. As with a runner on first and 2 outs, here comes the first pitch. And that's chopped out in front of Benitez. He fields, fires over to first, and that'll do it! The Oakland Athletics are victorious, and they will move on to the World Series. The 2019 World Series will be the Oakland Athletics, the American League champions, as they will be taking on the National League champions, the Chicago Cubs. The A's journey to the World Series was a relatively non-stressful one, as in the first round in the ALDS, they faced the wildcard winner Toronto Blue Jays, and they swept them 3-0, and then they moved on here to the ALCS. Looks like they were going to sweep, but they blew a save in Game 4, but came right back out in Game 5 and closed the deal. So the Oakland A's will be moving on to the World Series to face the Chicago Cubs, who beat the San Francisco Giants in the NLCS. And we will see you for Game 1 of the World Series next time here for the next edition of Oakland Athletics Baseball. I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I'm saying goodbye.